This begins Media 4 in the deposition of Sheriff Joseph Arpaio on the record at 3:48 p.m.
Sheriff, did you have the chance to confer with your two attorneys during the break?
Yes.
Do you want to change any of your testimony?
No.
Do you want to supplement any of your testimony to make your answers more accurate?
I don't recall. Right now, I haven't reviewed 5 hours, so I don't recall everything I said.
Anything
but
you want to say?
Well, I haven't reviewed the whole testimony today, but as of now, I don't have any reason to.
Okay. Okay. Do you know why the Maricopa County Attorney's Office moved to dismiss the criminal charges filed against Austin Flake and Logan Flake?
Not really.
Did you ever know?
Not that I can recall.
Now, were you concerned when Dennis Willenchek moved to have the case dismissed and remanded to the grand jury, claiming that your detective, Marie Tromby, had provided false grand jury testimony? Did that accusation concern you?
That was the attorney's opinion.
That I understand. But did that opinion concern you? That your detective, Marie Tromby, gave false testimony to the grand jury?
I was concerned about his opinion on calling my detective, I would presume, a liar.
Did you investigate the allegation that your detective, Marie Tromby, was a liar?
No.
Did you look at the grand jury transcript to see if she had lied?
No.
Did you attempt to ascertain the nature of the alleged lie?
No.
Are you aware that your detective, Marie Tromby, testified to the grand jury that the electrical usage records kept by the Salt River Project showed that the air conditioning at the Flakes residence was on all night and was consistent with other nights?
Object to form.
Was I concerned?
No, are you aware that your detective, Marie Tromby, told the grand jury that the air conditioner, quote, was on all night, unquote?
Object to form.
I wasn't concerned. That was her opinion, her investigation.
Well, are you aware that the SRP records reflecting the electrical usage at the Hughes' home on the night of the dog's death showed that at about 2 in the morning, the electrical usage dropped 38%?
I heard
Object to form.
I heard something about it, but I didn't get involved in the air conditioning. I don't even know how to plug a thing in a wall, so I didn't get involved in that.
I understand. Did you delegate the issue of whether or not Marie Tromby gave false grand jury testimony to one of your subordinates to investigate?
Not that I know, remember.
Why not?
Because of one lawyer that made a statement.
Well,
If you're saying Willocheck accused her of lying and so on.
no, I'm not saying that. Okay. You realize that grand jury proceedings are, a record is made of them, right?
Yes.
And you know what this lady does, right? The court reporter?
Yes.
She is an officer of the court, you understand, right?
I didn't know that, but I presume, yes.
And you know that she's under a legal obligation to accurately take down what transpires, for example, in this deposition, right?
Yes.
And do you know that grand jury proceedings, there's a court reporter, much like her, that takes down everything that's said before the grand jury? You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
You've testified before a grand jury, I bet, in your lengthy career?
Many, 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 many years ago.
Okay. Are you aware that there's a grand jury transcript that actually substantiates Mr. Willinchek's claim that Marie Tromby either accidentally or on purpose made misstatements to the grand jury, for example, by claiming that the Salt River Project electrical records for the Hughes' home on June 20th of 2014 indicate that the air conditioner was on all night? Are you aware of that?
Could you repeat the question?
The court reporter can.
That's what I mean.
Question, okay, are you aware that there's a grand jury transcript that actually substantiates Mr. Willinchek's claim that Marie Tromby either accidentally or on purpose made misstatements to the grand jury? For example, by claiming that the Salt River Project electrical records for the Hughes' home on June 20th of 2014 indicate that the air conditioner was on all night. Are you aware of that?
Okay. Objection, form and foundation.
Okay, are you aware of that?
You mean now?
Yeah.
Right now?
Or have you ever been aware of that?
I don't recall. I may have. I don't recall. I didn't get involved in all the grand jury and all the facts on it.
Are you aware that Dennis Willinchek argued to the Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Michael Kemp, in charge of the criminal case, that your detective, Marie Tromby, made misstatements to the grand jury?
The only thing that strikes me is that he was accusing, I think, of lying, perjury, and even including me in that. So that's what struck a bell with me.
Okay. Well, what
And
did
I
you
know I wasn't before any grand jury.
what did you do to assure yourself, if anything, that Marie Tromby did not make misrepresentations to the grand jury?
I don't believe that, I don't know if it's my higher staff or internal affairs looked into that. I don't know. I don't think they did. On the other hand, I do know that there were county attorneys working with her, and I would presume if there was something very serious, maybe they would have looked at that situation themselves.
Now, Sheriff, if one of your subordinates makes lies to a grand jury, is that something that would concern you as our sheriff?
This is the opinion of a lawyer that's suing,
Okay.
that has their own interests.
But some things, like what SRP's electrical usage records reflect, that's an objective fact, right?
I don't know
Objection,
anything.
form and foundation.
I don't know anything about that situation. I didn't look into it myself.
Well, did you ask one of your subordinates to look into it?
I don't recall. I would presume if there was an issue, they would look into it.
Without you asking them?
Yes.
Would they report their findings to you as sheriff?
I'm sure they would.
Did anyone report their findings to you, Sheriff Arpaio?
Not that I can recall.
Do you know if Marie Tromby lied to the grand jury?
Do I know?
Yeah. Do you know whether or not?
No, I don't know as a fact. But once again, it is a lawyer that's making an allegation.
Well, sometimes lawyers make allegations that are proven to be true, right?
That could be.
For example, prosecutors make allegations that involve rape and murder and child molestation. And oftentimes juries convict people and send people to prison over those allegations, right?
Yes, but I'm going to say it again. We had lawyers working with us. I would presume that the lawyers would make an issue of that, whatever you're asking me.
Well, are the lawyers in charge of your subordinates, or are you, Sheriff Arpaio?
I am, but we rely on legal matters from our attorneys. And they could have made an issue of it with my people that would have helped me if I knew whether there was a problem. Nobody came up to me and said there was a problem on that statement that the lawyer has said.
Judge Snow has found that your office has a pattern of failing to investigate allegations of misconduct, hasn't he?
That was his finding.
Do you disagree with it?
I don't agree with everything in a sense. I mean, but that's I'm saying that's his decision.
Well, Sheriff Arpaio, if one of your detectives is accused of lying before the grand jury and you don't investigate it, you don't know if anyone else has investigated it, doesn't that support Judge Snow's finding that your office is allowing people to perpetrate misconduct without even any investigation of that misconduct?
When you talk about investigations, I don't know whether my staff did talk to Marie Tromby. Now, if you're saying there's a big written investigation, I don't know. But I would presume that my people did question her on that allegation.
Do you also presume they would have informed you of their questioning of her and the results of their questioning?
I would imagine that there was some negative connotation or something wrong. Of course they would.
Well, if she were cleared, wouldn't they come to you and say, Sheriff, our woman, our detective, Marie Tromby, she didn't lie. Willencheck is wrong by accusing her of lying.
Well, there may have been some comments, and not a formal investigation, that they support her in her investigation. I'm sure they asked her about that.
Do you know that Marie Tromby testified to the grand jury in response to this question? Quote, so the SRP report shows that the air was working fine all night. Answer, yes. Are you aware that that was her testimony?
I didn't read the grand jury transcript.
Did anyone tell you about what the grand jury transcript said?
The whole transcript? No.
Did they share the part about whether or not the electricity stopped?
I know that there was a little controversy even in the media, I presume, over air conditioning. But once again, I didn't get involved with that. I let the investigators and the lawyers address that issue.
Are you aware that Marie Tromby was asked by a deputy county attorney before the grand jury question, in fact, that dog room, that air was working all night? Answer, yes. Are you aware of that?
I am now.
Did you ever become aware that in fact the air conditioning stopped working at the Hughes home at approximately 2 in the morning on June 20th of 2014, the night that those dogs died?
Objection, form and foundation. Form and foundation.
I don't recall time or this situation on air conditionings and so on. I wasn't running the investigation, as I said many times.
Sheriff Arpaio, you testified you're 84 years old and you have decades of experience in law enforcement. You're hardly a rookie, are you?
A rookie?
You're
No,
hard.
no,
You're not a
I would-
rookie.
No, I think 55 years doesn't make me a rookie.
You're a very seasoned law enforcement professional, aren't you?
Like to think so.
What do you think the impact on Logan, on Austin, what do you think the impact on their lives was when they were indicted on 21 felony counts, based upon your office's recommendation?
Foreman Foundation.
I think I said before, it doesn't matter what the surname is or whatever. I do have a heart, I think you know that. I do have children and grandkids.
You seem like you have a heart,
Well,
Sheriff.
but I have to do my duty professionally, and my personal feelings don't make any difference to me when I'm doing my job.
I understand that, but do you think that being charged with 21 felony counts hurt Austin, hurt Logan?
I don't know.
Well,
I can't speak for them.
well, based on your experience, sir, what's your gut feeling on that?
Check the form.
I don't have a gut feeling because there are many people, politicians or otherwise, have been charged with crimes. So I don't really get involved in that. I wasn't involved in this one. But I'm just doing my job. My people were doing their job. And that's the way I look at it.
Do you think Marie Tromby did a good job investigating the death of those dogs?
I have to go by record and experience. He's a very seasoned, probably one of the best in the country on animal cruelty. Many, many, many arrests we have made, probably more than anybody in this county. So I have confidence with all the arrests and all the convictions. 99.9% have been convicted of all the cases we've made.
Okay, well, thank you. Marie Tromby was in charge of the investigation, wasn't she?
I believe she was. There may have been a sergeant too there. I'm not sure, but she was what we may call the lead, probably the lead investigator.
And do you think she did a good job?
Yes,
Do you stand by what she did?
yes.
Do you stand by her testimony to the grand jury?
I don't have all the facts on the testimony. All I can stand by the investigation, her experience, and her honesty and dedication. That's all I can say, and I stand by that.
Do you deny that she made misrepresentations to the grand jury?
Objection, Foreman Foundation.
I don't know that answer.
Have you done anything to ascertain the answer to that question?
No.
Why
But
not?
my staff may have, I mentioned before, my staff may have talked to her about that and looked into it. And county attorneys that worked with her in that. I believe there may have been a deputy county attorney in a grand jury. I don't know, but there has to be a deputy county, I would think, yes.
Yeah. They're the ones who dismissed the indictment and remanded it to the grand jury, right?
They remanded it to the grand jury?
Yeah. And when the grand jury came back, there was no indictment of Austin Flake. There was no indictment of Logan Flake. Right?
Well, I don't know the sequence on that situation.
Do you
But,
believe that Logan Flake was re-indicted?
No, I don't think he was re-indicted. He was indicted.
Okay, but, Logan Flake is a woman, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Logan.
okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
It's
that.
okay. Logan Flake was indicted once, right?
Logan.
Logan Flake. Ms. Flake, the blonde. She was indicted, right?
I'm not sure.
Pursuant to the recommendation of your office. 21 times. The transcript is right here.
Well, I'm not sure whether Austin was too.
They both were.
You said Logan.
I know I did say Logan. Logan was indicted on 21 counts, and Austin was indicted on 21 felony counts. They both were pursuant to the recommendation of your office. You understand that, right?
And the county attorney.
And that indictment was remanded to the grand jury, right? You gave a press conference over it that we just watched.
Indicted, yes.
No, the indictment was remanded to the grand jury and the charges were dismissed without prejudice,
Okay.
right?
That's what you say. I didn't follow that. My memory isn't clear on that right now.
Okay. Well, you gave a press conference and issued a press release regarding that incident.
I don't think I mentioned any names, did I?
Well, that press conference that I just showed you, are you denying that was referencing the indictment and the remand of Logan and Austin Flake, their indictment to the grand jury?
I did not mention names. I was talking about some allegations by a certain attorney and that we didn't do a job, and that's what caused that situation. You're talking about the U2, my comments, yeah.
Yeah. Sheriff Arpaio, now that you've had all day to think about it, tell me what Logan Flake did to those dogs that was intentional and violative of the law.
Once again, I'm going to rely on the detectives and the prosecutors that were involved in this investigation.
Tell me, now that you've had the chance to think about it, what Austin Flake did that was intentional and violative of the law in reference to those dogs.
I don't have an answer for that.
Do you think that your office did a good job in reference to its indictment of Logan and Austin?
Check the form.
They did a very professional job,
And you stand by what they did?
yes.
Sheriff Arpaio, do you want to say anything to make the record more accurate or complete at this time?
No.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you for your patience and your time, sir.
Thank you.
This concludes the deposition of Sheriff Joseph Arpaio, off the record at 4:11 p.m.